Howdy, howdy. Welcome back to another Workshop Wednesday. This time it's a What's New edition, which means this is the first Wednesday of every month. And what we do for Workshop Wednesday on the first Wednesdays of each month is go through the most recent updates that happened the most previous month to give you an update. You got to make sure you take advantage of all these features. And of course, this is your first Workshop Wednesday. Welcome. My name is Chris Mercer. I do go by Mercer. I'm the co-founder here at measuremarketing.io. And whether you are coming from the podcast and talks that we've given, maybe through you've seen a couple of our courses or some of our classes we've shared with other platforms like CS Institute, Social Media Examiner, Digital Marketer, or Measure Summit. Maybe you're already a member over at measuremarketing.io, where all of our courses and trainings are. However you found us, we're happy that you're here. It's our job to help you learn how to use all these tools, and that means keeping up with all the changes. Now, of course, the Measurement Marketing Academy is our flagship program, and workshops are back there, and all these courses are back there. We'll talk more about that at the end. In the meantime, let's focus on one thing, right? One new idea, one new concept that you want to be able to get from these updates that you can take advantage of. I'm pretty sure there'll be at least one. I know what mine is already. I'll tell you at the end of this, but I know what mine is because there's a big change. I think it's a monumental change with Google Analytics. So pretty interesting, but stay tuned. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started officially. What's new? November 2021. This is the latest updates to Google Analytics, Tag Manager, Data Studio, and more. We will go ahead and dive right in. And before I hand this over, I want to make sure we introduce Julie Brade. She is our lead instructor. She is the one who runs all of our digital measurement services back there. She's doing our private guided training. She is absolutely amazing. And so she is in this all the time. And so we thought, you know what? Julie's going to go ahead and give us the updates this month. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, Julie Brade, and take it away. Actually, sorry, Julie. Before you do this, I want to make sure I get through the framework. Plan, build, and launch. I should know this by now. We plan things out, we build things out, then we launch things out. Marketers are starting in the blind most of the time. We want to be using a system that reliably grows revenues and profits. We do this with asking the right questions, collecting the right information to get those answers. What actions will we take based upon the answers we get? That's our plan. When you have your plan, then you do the build where the results are important. Today's update, I happen to know a little sneak peek of this. So the update is going to affect results a little bit. So make sure you pay attention for that. Traffic, identifying the who, what, and why, eventually connecting them into a story that shows traffic and what results are coming from that traffic. When you have your measurement system built out, first you plan it, then you build it, then we launch it. We actually start using it. So we listen to the conversation that's happening between the users and the website. From there, we can forecast how things are supposed to start working, and then you measure against your forecasts. That, my friends, is what tells you what to optimize, what's working and what's not. That's the measurement marketing framework in a nutshell. All right, so with that, now I'm officially done. Julie, go ahead and take it away, and let's go ahead and get us updated on what the latest and greatest updates are.
All right, this is actually going to be a quick one because there was not that much that was updated in November of 2021. So we're going to dive right into Data Studio. And one of the biggest changes, if you're familiar with the platform, is by default, this is what we're going to see when we're not selected on a very specific element. So if I click on this option, I see a data tab, I see a style tab. If I click off of it anywhere else and where I'm not selected on any of these charts or any of these elements, whether it be a text block or a shape or something, this is what we're seeing now. Personally, I feel like it's a little bit clunky. Just by looking at it, drag a field into the canvas to add a chart is what we're seeing here. I would kind of think like, oh, does it mean I drag it here? Is this kind of thinking it's the canvas? But this thing over here, as you can see now, there's a big blue line all the way around it. I'm going to let go of my mouse and the blue line disappears. I can, again, grab it and start dragging it over and the blue line appears. So, and then if I drag it onto the canvas, like that little instruction was telling me, it puts it into a table. So it hasn't brought any more productivity or efficiency to the table yet. So I'm kind of wondering if this is a step towards something else, because it's not like Data Studio and their developers to just give us something without it being really a need. And so I'm not quite sure what this solves. So the other thing that's really important in a lot of our trainings and our workshops and our courses, one of the things that we always show you how to do is to click off of an element, and then there would have been an option up here that says theme and layout. it's not up here anymore. So how do we find it? Well, it's right up here now. And this actually appeared up here a few months ago. And so we always have, we have our menu bar up here, and then we have all of our different tools. And a few months ago, theme and layout popped up. And now we know why. It's because they got rid of it over here. So I feel like eventually we're going to get told something else, another update's going to come through that's going to make sense why we have this. Again, why it made sense that they put this up here, because they knew they were going to get rid of the other way to find it. All right, so the other update with Data Studio that happened is a really, really cool thing that we can do now. Before, if we wanted to change a date to see what was going on with our data, or maybe filter it by our source or a medium or whatever it is we wanted to do, we always had to go into view mode. And it was kind of a pain where if you wanted to view something, change it, and then, oh, that's not right, you had to go back into edit mode, and it was kind of like a constant back and forth. Wasn't very efficient. So now I'm in edit mode right now. We could tell that because we see these grid lines here, and I see that the only option to switch is to view. If I was in view mode, my option to switch would be edit. So I know I'm in edit mode, and what we can do now is I can select on these and say I only want to see the Google traffic, and then it's going to filter everything on the dashboard that's grouped with this. It's going to filter by that particular selection. The one drawback that I have found with this that you have to be careful, and so if you're on a laptop with a trackpad, this is probably going to be a pain. So invest in a mouse, a regular old mouse, because if you want to select multiple at the time, it's a little bit hard because you can see there's that pointer finger where it's trying to select something, but as in filter by an option. But if you're trying to edit and you want to select all of them and you're like holding down the command key, it's a little bit finicky. You got to get it click exactly where you want to for it to click where you for it to select the option, as opposed to you accidentally clicking and filtering. And so you just have to be very particular with your clicks and very precise, I guess is a better way of saying it. And so the other method around that is just dragging and dropping your mouse. That's one way to fix that. So, and I know this is going to be a question, so I'm going to go ahead and answer it here. How do you get a dashboard that looks like this? This is actually part of our dashboarding toolkit. It is back there in free for our Toolbox members. Mercer will show you that here in just a moment of how you can become a free Toolbox member and have access to this, so you can copy it and make it your own. So that this is back there free for our Toolbox members. Now, going on to the next update. We didn't really have anything for Tag Manager at all. And we did have some stuff that came through with Google Analytics, which was exciting. But I want to make sure that if anyone is using default channel groupings, you absolutely, absolutely need to pay attention, because the default channel groupings changed in the middle of the month. And so if you are looking at your results and relying on the logic of the channel groupings, your reports have changed as of November 15th. I don't think there was anything that rolled out that said, hey, by the way, we're switching this on this date, to give you a heads up. But it was changed on November 15th. Good news is the data is still there. You didn't lose any data. You just have to adjust your logic and to make sure that you are now working with the new definition, or perhaps create the custom channel groupings instead of using the default. The biggest thing that we can see now is, because we've had some questions about this before, like this organic shopping, what is this? And this is if you're Googling something on, let's see here, I'm going to just type in paint supplies, and I can go over to this option to go to shopping. And I believe, depending on their actual setup, there might be some UTMs that come through and as Google Shopping. I was doing some shopping here recently, not for paint supplies, but I was able to see in the UTM that I saw Google Shopping come through, and I was like, well, that's cool. And you just want to be very careful and understand what each one of these different definitions are. And we will put this link as a reference, and we'll also put this other link right here. So it tells you where you can get all your different definitions. And so you can look at these to see, is this matching the story that you're telling? So whenever you build your dashboard or whatever it is that you're building for your end user, yourself or your client, your stakeholder, is paid search, is this really what the definition is? Paid video, is this really the definition that you are expecting? So on and so forth, because you always want to make sure you're telling the right story and not relying on Google's logic to match your logic. You can always, like I said, create the custom channel groupings to make it match what it is that you want it to have. Sometimes from one client to another, it might be slightly different logic because maybe they call it something else, and it just makes it easier for them to have their own custom grouping instead of the default. So go through this, especially if you use channels. Go through this and make sure your logic didn't break. And if you need to adjust it, you have us back there and ask an instructor support for those Academy members. If you want to verify that your dashboards are still telling the same story, just let us know. We're happy to help with that. But that is basically the change that happened with Google Analytics. It's kind of not a big one, but can be a very big deal in your reporting, because you can definitely accidentally not tell a very useful story, or your story kind of changed on this date. If you're expecting to see, if you're looking for YouTube under social, and it's not going to be there anymore, it's going to look like your YouTube traffic just kind of went down. So again, it just all depends on how you're using the report, if you're using the default or not. And if you're Academy member, we're back there to help you work out this logic if you need help with that, and ask an instructor support. So those are our updates for November 2021. I had to think about that for a sec. All right, I'm going to hand it back off to Mercer.
All right. Thank you for that. Oops, I've got the wrong slide pulled up, so we're going to go ahead and change that very quickly. Give me just a second. I don't know how that actually happened. I thought I was probably just going a little bit too fast. You know what I was trying to do? I was trying to show this slide. Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go to the slide. I think you can do it. Maybe my PowerPoint is completely crashed at the moment. Wow, that's not great. All right. I think it is. All right. Well, I tell you what, it was pretty cool. But I was going to have a nice little slide for Julie. It says, hey, thanks, Julie. Appreciate it. But unfortunately, my PowerPoint doesn't want to cooperate at the moment. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and move on. So what I would normally do here is show you the slides of the Academy and sort of all the fun features there. Instead, I'm going to give you a very quick tour of the Academy in case you're wondering kind of what this Academy is. So when you come in, you basically see all of this stuff, right? You see the toolbox and everything else associated with it. The content back here is not so that you can come in and see every single course that we offer and go through every single course and every single workshop, because I promise, we create content so much faster than you will ever be able to use it. That's just how this works. We create content really, really quickly. And the whole point of it is so that you can stay up to date on things like this, so that when you're ready, you'll have the answer that you need as you go through. That's why it's there. So that's why we actually go forth and do this. And I want to make sure that people understand that, because a lot of times people ask us questions like, well, how many hours would it take me to get through the Academy? And the answer is a lifetime. It'll take you a long time. That's purposeful, because this is a just-in-time learning platform. It's not here to give you just a course on Google Analytics. It's bigger than that, because measurement is bigger than that. And that's what this is about. It's not just a Google Analytics course or a Tag Manager course or a Data Studio course or any of that stuff. It is for measurement. That's what it's for. So here we've got the Win courses, the workshops is the primary content, and you've got resources, which is the toolbox. So the Win courses themselves will actually go through and talk about all the different content that you've got access to. Then you've also got the Google Analytics and Tag Manager, et cetera, et cetera. And I apologize, because right now, and I don't know if you're actually even able to see this, my entire computer has frozen at the moment. I can't do anything, including clicking on tabs. So I can't show you any of this. So let me see if I can just this is why I love doing these things live, because it's not fun unless something terribly goes wrong and crashes in your system. My poor CPU is screaming right now, going, what are you doing? So give me just a second. I apologize. I'm going to try to see if I can shut down our offending platform here, which I think is PowerPoint. This is the beauty of watching the YouTube side. You get to see all this behind the scenes stuff. Our Academy members get this nice edited out version of everything, which is hopefully better for them. But yeah, right now I can't get everything unstuck. So, hey, it is what it is. We're going to deal with it. Sometimes you got to roll with the punches. But anyway, you're going to have to imagine this. And I will say, anybody who's watched our workshops before, I do tours of the Academy at the end of every single workshop. I have these nice little slides at the end of every single workshop. Hopefully you have seen that. Oh, there we go. I finally got PowerPoint to shut down. So let me see if I can bring that back up and see if that little reset. Oh, yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. So now I've got my computer back. Yay. All right, this will be one of those little blooper reels. It'll go to. I'm going to keep this in YouTube. I like this. This is how we get subscribers. Is this stuff? You got to see us crash and burn. That's my best part. By the way, we're almost at 3,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for those that are helping push us over the edge. Here are the win courses I promised. So organized by date and then also by topic. So you've got Google Analytics courses. You can see the setup of analytics, the basics of analytics, of using it with like UTMs and results and how do you measure traffic and results and tie it together in a story and all that fun stuff. Also the newest kid on the block, which is Google Analytics 4. So you can see the training there. The on-demand workshops, obviously the Workshop Wednesday is there, but you also have access as an Academy member to all the edited ones so that stuff like this, what just happened here, where it was all kind of crash and burn, all that's taken off. So you have those. Resources as your toolbox. So you've got your toolbox coming through. And then you've got the winner circle for community support. You can see people ask questions, help each other out. And then finally, ask instructor support, where you can actually just click this button, send us over videos and screenshots. We send videos and screenshots back to help you get unstuck and on the way. That's what makes this such an incredible, incredible platform. Remember, it's not just a course you're buying. It's a culture. It's a whole different way of thinking about stuff. It is the framework. It's our job to help you to go through the framework itself. And now I can actually show you this because it worked. So there we go. So now there's our beginning slide. All right. So you can see all the fun stuff that we've already gone through. I'm going to skip through this. So this is the framework, right? This is the idea of the Academy. It helps you to get through this thing itself. So that's what we're trying to do. Incidentally, Julie did mention in her broadcast about the Toolbox members. We do have a Toolbox membership. Now, you can always subscribe to YouTube, and the next week's video is going to be about troubleshooting goals in Universal Analytics, which I believe Julie's also doing. So definitely subscribe to YouTube. I'm almost at 3,000, so thank you for that. But the Toolbox is free, and it includes Workshop Wednesday and all of the tools. And so like Julie had mentioned, there's that dashboard planner that's back there. There's a whole demo dashboard you can copy and you can use to figure out, like, how did she actually build those tabs? Because it's super useful to have tabs in a dashboard. I use them all the time. Our clients are using them. Our students build dashboards like this now, and so that their stakeholders can actually use these dashboards and actually use them. How many times have you created a dashboard or been given a dashboard where you're like, I have no idea what this is, right? And they don't use it. It's a waste of everyone's time, effort, and resources. But with the Toolbox, you'll have access to stuff that you need. So it's back there. Again, the whole point of the framework, you can just go to measure.tip/ww. That's the free membership to get access to the tools. Then the Academy, which is the one we just did a tour of, and I apologize for doing this slightly out of order. But again, the whole point is we built the Academy for the framework. We already did the course, so I'm not going to go through that again. But to recap the Academy, it's got courses, all the Ask Instructor support, the on-demand workshops, the Winner Circle community. You have access to everything. There are no restrictions. There are no limits to any of it. It is all back there for you. Roughly speaking, about $8,500 in training and support, all in the Academy each and every month that you are a member. So take a look at what's back there now. Rates are going up just a little bit. So be sure to take advantage of whatever the offer is. Whenever you're watching this, get back there. It's always the most, we never, ever, ever lower rates ever. So whatever you see is definitely the most available rate as it currently stands. So get back there. If it's something of interest, if it's remotely of interest, I would invest in it because it will change your life. And I know that's a big statement, but it's true. It changes how you look at the world, how you look at measurement, how you look at your digital marketing, to actually understand the conversation happening between the website and the users. That's what we're here to help you to do, using free tools like Analytics and Data Studio, Tag Manager, and more. So measure.tip/get-academy to learn more about the Measurement Marketing Academy. And with that, we'll officially wrap this one up. This has been What's New? November 2021 updates to Google Analytics, Data Studio, and more. Thanks again for watching this workshop, and we'll see you on the next one.